एग्जामिनेशन वाला एक क्वेश्चन है तो सही.
Yeah.
नहीं, मैंने ना actually the flow is like when I start talking, I talk of from the how common is breast cancer. So उसके बाद I ask Dr. Serene, उसी से link हो जाता है ना कि because the mortality is higher in India even though the incidence is less. So she talks about it why and then lifestyle disorder. And उसके बाद मैं आपसे पूछती हूँ कि भाई early detection is the need. So what is the screening protocol? And once you tell the protocol, then I asked after that कि भाई self-examination is a very important part of the screening protocol. So let's have the
screening protocol में Amrita, we don't talk about basically you are asking me a question on self-examination. यार मेरा शक्ल ही गायब होगी, पता नहीं कितने गया मैं.
नहीं दिख रहे हो आप.
मैं अपने उसमें नहीं दिख रहा हूँ. On my this thing I'm not seeing. पता नहीं कितने.
Are you doing it on phone?
Sorry, no, I'm on this thing.
Laptop, no?
I'm on no. हाँ होना गया. So what I'm trying to say is you are asking about how frequently do self-examination. थोड़ा एक question है.
Yeah.
तो उसके बाद you can show it ना.
उसके बाद.
Because screening protocol we are talking about how mammography should be done. We are not talking about you want us to talk about the clinical examination and this thing. Is that right?
I want you to talk about all three, no? Self-examination, clinical examination, and mammo.
Okay.
I think you all have been put on hold. Okay. Yeah. Great. I'm going to start.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Neeti. Welcome. Welcome. So good to see you. I think you all are on mute right now because our film is going to start playing. And then at 5, we'll just start.
Hi, everyone. I think I'm on unmute now. Yes. Hi. Hi, sir. How are you? Hi, Meeta. Hi, Dr. Amrita.
Hi, welcome. The show is going to begin.
एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच बिन बोलिया तू सब कुछ जानदा सच झूठ दिया रमज़ पछाणदा बिन बोलिया तू सब कुछ जानदा सच झूठ दिया रमज़ पछाणदा मेरी तेरे उत्ते टेक मेरे मालका इको तकिया सहारा तेरे नाम दा इको तकिया सहारा तेरे नाम दा रब्बा रब्बा मी वरसा सब दी चोली दाने पा सब कुछ करे करावे आप तू रब सारी दुनिया दा रब्बा रब्बा मी वरसा सब दी चोली दाने पा सब कुछ करे करावे आप तू रब सारी दुनिया दा तू रब सारी दुनिया दा
Khurana Jewelry House, a legacy since 1950, has over the years come to be known as the epitome of exclusive jewelry designs and unmatched craftsmanship. Each jewelry piece at Khurana Jewelry House is a masterpiece with a promise of authenticity reflective of the brand's intrinsic philosophy and great heritage of trust. As North India's leading jeweler, Khuranas take great pride in offering an unparalleled retail experience where gold, jarao, kundan and diamond jewelry are available under one roof. Khurana Jewelry House has been adorned with over 30 national awards and is a pioneer in couture jewelry. With a vision to see Indian jewelry spread its wings to capture the beauty of not just women in India but also women overseas. Khurana Jewelry House has established itself as a recognizable brand at a global level by collaborating with Bollywood celebrities like Kareena Kapoor Khan, Janhvi Kapoor, Kajol, Madhuri Dixit, Diya Mirza, Aditi Rao Hydari and many more.
Good evening, Sat Sri Akal, and a very warm welcome to all of you from Flow Amritsar. Ji Ayanu. Welcome our presidents, governing body members, fellow chapter chairs, members across Flow Pan India, our sponsors, and my dear Amritsar members. A special warm welcome to our guest of honor, a woman of substance and our city's pride, Amritsar Municipal Corporation Commissioner, Mrs. Komal Mittalji. Thank you for being with us, Komalji. Today, I know you have a very busy schedule, but you're with us today. A very warm welcome to Governor C.A. Devinder Singh Ji of District 3070 of Rotary International and our associated partner in Sambhav in our cervical cancer awareness and vaccination program. We also have President Vijay Nair Ji of Rotary Club Main of Amritsar, who initiated and played an eminent role by bringing two dynamic organizations, Flow and Rotary, together. Thank you, Devinder Ji and Vijay Nair Ji, for being here with us today. A special shout out to my dearest friend and mentor, Radhika Khanna, a fun-loving, refusing to grow old, successful entrepreneur, and a very brave breast cancer survivor. Lovely to have you amongst us here today, Radhika, and thank you for your support. And now let's all get together with a virtual round of applause for our esteemed and honorable panelists of the day, Dr. Ramesh Sareen, Colonel Dr. C.S. Pant, Neeti Likhaji, and Sonam Kalra. May I request IT to please play the virtual lamp lighting ceremony and give Sambhav an auspicious start in the august presence of our guests. IT. Lamp lighting, please. Thank you. I think the IT is having a technical glitch. I think I'm just going to proceed, and once IT is able to put the lamp lighting ceremony on, maybe we can just play it then. So Sambhav, which means it's possible. It's a 3 cancer campaign started by Flow Amritsar, focusing on breast, cervical, and oral cancers. Our goal is to spread awareness and guide as many people through early action and detection and try to save as many lives. I'd like to thank our awareness partners, Rotary International, Forum for Breast Cancer Protection, and Yes to Life for joining hands, and together we shall make a difference. IT, can you please play the lamp lighting before I invite Sonamji? Yes, Mona. Yeah, it's a glitch. I guess I'm going to still proceed. Well, I'm so sorry for the glitch. IT is just going to play the lamp lighting ceremony and then I can proceed. Well, I guess I'm just going to move on. Very sorry, the music, I don't know what went wrong with the lamp lighting music. But without further ado, may I have the honor to introduce and invite Sonam Kalra to inaugurate Sambhav with her beautiful angelic voice. Sonam is a multiple award-winning singer and composer, and her music emerges from a place of truth. Inherent to her in her beautiful, powerful voice and complex compositions is an integrity that reflects her philosophy, a philosophy of equality, inclusion, and tolerance of peace. She is acclaimed as a versatile singer and composer, a musician with a message, and also has as an inspirational speaker and role model, expressing her learnings from her creative and spiritual journey through her music and her words. Her sustained training in both Western and Hindustani classical forms enhanced her talent, and with the courage of her convictions, gave birth to her brainchild, Sonam Kalra and the Sufi Gospel Project. This remarkable project has taken on a vibrant life of its own, blending the many voices of faith through poetry, prayer, and music to resonate with one universal voice. True to her beliefs, Sonam, as a singer, performer, and motivational speaker, uses her strong voice to speak out on a range of issues from child abuse, women's rights, and animal rights to helping raise money for cancer charities and education for children. Sonam, such an honor for Flow Amritsar to have you, an acclaimed singer like you and a musician, to be here with us today. Over to you, Sonam.
Thank you so much, Meeta. Can you hear me? Just checking since we didn't do a sound
Very
check.
good.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's clear enough.
Yeah.
So thank you for, of course, asking me to be a part of this for many reasons. First of all, since you're all from Amritsar, it gives me great joy to say Sat Sri Akal to all of you. It's my very favorite word because it means the truth shall always reign. In many ways, that is what I try and do through my music, try and sing from a place of truth, try and talk about the truth of acceptance. I'm having an interesting dilemma today, which I'll share with all of you. But before I do, let me go back to saying it's such an honor to be here for the wonderful, strong, I love speaking to a bunch of really incredible, strong women. I do believe all women are really strong, but when they come together as a collective body, I know that there's nothing in the world they can't do. So thank you for just 5 minutes or 7 minutes making me part of this incredible bunch of empowered women. So it is an honor to be here. Also to be able to do anything to be able to support cancer. That's a personal story, which I'll share with you in just a few minutes. But I was telling you about the dilemma I'm having today. I was talking about truth and how it's so important for me to try and express truth through my music. And that is the main reason I eventually started singing. I used to sing as a child and I came back to it after a while because I wanted to have something to say through my music. And so today I'm sitting here with my head covered, which is not something I would do normally. And I don't do it because of disrespect. I do it because when I sing the words of the Granth Sahib, or if I sing the words of Guru Nanak or Kabir, or I recite a chant from the Gita or from the Quran, and I do it without my head covered, it's not out of disrespect. It's out of the fact that it's equal respect for all of them. And it's also out of the fact that I don't believe in an outward display necessarily of showing that God exists, because for me, God is with me everywhere, all the time, in my times of happiness, in my times of sadness, in my times of sanity, in my times of insanity. And so, but the reason I am doing it is because I am going to sing Ek Omkar, and I was told by somebody, very interestingly, that you should cover your head. So I said, all right, because I care for people. I don't want to offend anyone. So I'm doing this. But as I'm sitting here, it's a very interesting little dialogue that's going on in my head. So I thought I'd share that with you. That God to me is everywhere in everything. And by this logic of needing to cover my head, I should perhaps then do it at every single point of time in the day, including when I sleep, because I think of God a lot and I recite a lot of prayer in my sleep. So, but today, I have decided to conform, which I think would possibly make a lot of people who know me smile, because I'm completely a non-conformist, and I do believe in the words of Kabir, who says, "Moko kahan dhoonde re bande, main to tere paas mein, na main jap mein, na main tap mein, na main vrat upvas mein, na main kriya karm mein rehta, na hi yog sannyas mein, na hi pran mein, na hi pind mein, ना ब्रह्मांड आकाश में, ना मैं भ्रिकुटी भवर गुफा में, सब श्वासन की श्वास में, यानी कि मैं हर इंसान की हर सांस में हूँ। खीजी होए तुरंत मिल जा, मुझे खोजोगे तो मैं तुम्हें तुरंत मिल जाऊँगा। खीजी होए तुरंत मिल जा, मैं तो हूँ विश्वास में। So that was just something I wanted to share with you. Of course, coming to cancer, I have great admiration for all the doctors, all the caregivers, and all the cancer samurais, as my mother called them. She didn't call them survivors. She didn't call them fighters. She called them people who were dealing with cancer. She called them samurais, cancer samurais. And I know, Meeta, we have that in common in our mothers. But Colonel Pant, thank you for connecting me to Meeta. We found many things to connect about. Colonel Pant has been someone who my parents were very close to. And he wrote me the loveliest message about the strength he saw my mother deal with her cancer with. So really kudos to all of you to help with creating this cancer awareness, for this pre-screening, for all the work you're going to do. Honestly, not enough is done, and you will infuse in it, I know, the positivity that only women can. So thank you for doing this. And I'd just like to say Ek Omkar with my head covered.
Looking forward to it, Sonam. Thank you.
एक ओंकार सतनाम एक ओंकार सतनाम एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच एक ओंकार सतनाम एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच एक ओंकार सतनाम एक ओंकार सतनाम 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 तेरी इस बंदे पर तू ही है मेरा खुदा रहमतें तेरी इनायत तेरी तू सुन ले मेरी दुआ एक ओंकार सतनाम एक ओंकार सतनाम एक ओंकार सतनाम सतनाम सतनाम
Sorry, one sec. Yes. Now I can see you. Sorry, let me turn the reverb off. 1 second. Now I can see you all clearly again. And I'm going to uncover my head.
Sonam, that was breathtaking, beautiful, and I'm so emotional right now that it's going to take me a couple of seconds to, get my voice back into talking to everyone. Beautiful. You just
Thank
took us
you.
into this world of spiritualism and divinity. So, so beautiful.
Thank you. And one of the things I just wanted to say, even about this version of Ekomkar, I know you could hear the strains of Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha and La ilaha illallah in the background. And that's what faith is. It's everywhere. It's in everything. And God is really in your heart, in people, in being kind to people. And as Bulle Shah says so often, he says, and that piece, of course, I'll do for you when I come and sing for you all live. But it's a piece that I composed, and he says, मेरे गुरु ने मुझे एक ऐसा नुक्ता पढ़ाया है कि मेरा काबा, मेरा किबला, मेरा मस्जिद, मेरा मंदिर किसी चार दीवारी में नहीं है, मेरे दिल के अंदर है और मेरे साथ बैठे इंसान के दिल के अंदर है. And he says, now that I have this knowledge, I'm free from the shackles of ritual and religion. And I will forever wear my ankle bells and I will dance in celebration. And so that's really what faith is. That's really what the kind of faith we need to have. And by the work that you are all doing and that you will do with this, you are just reiterating my faith in the goodness of people. So thank you for this lovely work that you're all going to be doing. And I wish you the very, very best. And please let me know whenever you'd like me to be a part of this in any way that I can help.
Thank you so
to all
much.
of you.
And in the near future, we're going to have you in Amritsar, in Rio.
Absolutely.
And,
I'd love
we
to
look
be
forward
there.
to that moment.
And Colonel Pan, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I have to wear my glasses to read your name. This is the problem with, being able to read far and close.
Yeah. IT team.
Sonam, many thanks for coming. Many thanks for coming. God bless you.
Thank you, Colonel Pan.
IT team, may we please have a green certificate to honor Sonam Kalra ji. Please
And the lighting of the
have
lamp.
on screen.
Oh,
And
thank you.
so
Thank you
there's a
so
tree
much.
planted in your name in the Sundarbans, and
Lovely.
we shall courier this certificate to you. It's an Amritsar chapter tradition, and you can actually track this tree and you can see its progress. And
So I
growth.
have to tell you, I have one planted from the Delhi chapters. Now I'm going to have 2 trees. I'm feeling supremely rich with these trees. So thank you so much.
Lovely.
Thank
Great.
you all. Bye. Have a lovely rest of your webinar. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
And now, may I have the honor to introduce our panelists of the day. Dr. Mrs. Ramesh Sareen is working as a senior consultant in surgical oncology at Indraprastha Apollo Hospital, New Delhi. She specializes in breast cancer and did her MBBS and MS in general surgery from the prestigious All India Institute of Medical Sciences. She worked in the UK for 6 years and obtained her FRCS degree in 1972. With a burning desire to serve her own country, she returned back in 1975 and joined as an assistant professor at her alma mater, AIMS, where she was awarded the Special Fellowship in Surgical Oncology. She has also joined the prestigious Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York for 1 year, which helped her in refining surgical techniques and changed her outlook towards treating cancer patients as a whole. She came back to India and started the first ever breast cancer clinic at AIMS. Dr. Sareen joined Indraprastha Apollo Hospital in 1996 and has dedicated her services to patients with breast diseases, in particular breast cancer. She's printed many pamphlets on Know About Breast Cancer and Road to Recovery, and many more. She also started an NGO called Forum for Breast Cancer Protection, whose single-minded goal is to spread breast cancer awareness. With this aim in mind, Forum has produced a groundbreaking educational film titled Breast Self-Examination, which we shall be watching today. Dr. Sareen, welcome, and such an honor for us to have you with us today. This moment for me is also filled with honor and pride as I introduce the father of radiology and breast cancer detection, Dr. Colonel C.S. Pant, who also happens to be my godfather. Recipient of the prestigious Vishisht Seva Medal from the Honorable President of India, Dr. Pant is a renowned breast radiologist in the country. He has been working in the field of breast radiology since 1986. After a distinguished career in the prestigious Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Science, Delhi, he established a dedicated breast imaging center in the private sector. Over the years, he is the most sought after speaker on breast imaging in most regional, national conferences, besides being an authority in the field of breast imaging. Dr. Pant has authored a book, Atlas of Breast Imaging with Mammography, Ultrasound, and MRI Correlation, published. This book is first on breast imaging by an Indian author and is very popular with radiologists, clinicians engaged in the field of breast diseases. Dr. Pant is also responsible for bringing awareness about the benefits of early breast cancer detection with his Forum for Breast Cancer Protection. He's a co-chairperson of the NGO. Dr. Pant is also actively involved with a very well-reputed NGO called Arohi, and he has been the president of Indian Radiology and Imaging Association in 2003. Also the founder president of Breast Imaging Society, India 2013, vice chairperson, Forum for Breast Cancer Protection, and many more. Thank you, Dr. Pant, for initiating this event and giving us time out of your busy schedule. Now, our third panelist and speaker of the day is Dr. Neeti Likha. She is the founder of Yes to Life, which is a breast cancer survivor and who dealt with disease at the age of 31 years with a positive attitude and strength. Yes to Life is an NGO that started the operations in 2014. The team is working towards breast cancer awareness, cancer screenings, and emotional, financial, and rehabilitation support for patients. She's also a TEDx speaker and an author who writes about life, positivity, and happiness. Neeti started this NGO with all her heart and soul to serve and help whoever is fighting this disease. Neeti's vision to contribute to reduce mortality rate arising from breast cancer is her driving force. To quote her, "My life after cancer has become much more beautiful and meaningful. I enjoy wind in my hair, every second spent with my son, rain on my hands, and every moment is my life now." Wow, thank you, Neeti. That's so beautifully, written, and such an honor for us to have you here. IT team, may we please present our honorable panelists with their green certificates. Thank you. And now may I request our Flow Amritsar member and a renowned radiologist of our city, Dr. Amrita Rana, who is a postgraduate in radio diagnosis and imaging and an alumni of GMC Amritsar. She is the chief consultant radiologist and director of Rana Diagnostics and has been in the field for over 30 years. She is one of the most trusted and respected sonologists of the city and specializes in women imaging. She's donned many leadership roles in various doctors' organizations and has been president of Punjab IRIA and is currently the secretary of Indian Medical Association. Thank you, Dr. Rana. Over to you. Let's begin.
Thank you, Meeta, for your kind introduction. It's my honor and pleasure to be interacting with the masters in their field today. Breast cancer, as we know, is one of the commonest cancers in the women worldwide. The incidence is higher in the West, but has over years in India also, it is now the number one cancer in women. In 2018, worldwide, we lost about 6.5 lakhs women to this dreaded cancer. So over to Dr. Serene, I would rather ask to seek all the information from the experts. So since incidence is so high, and in India, though it is less than in the West, we have less survival rate and the mortality rate is much higher than in the West. What do you think is the cause for this? Dr. Serene? Please unmute.
Yes. Hello, hi, good afternoon, and thank you so much, Meeta and Amrita and the FLO and the FICCI and the Rotarians for having us over here. It's a pleasure to take part in the awareness program that you have so well organized. Now, we all know, or it's known that breast cancer is much less in India. Say it's 1.65 lakhs annually, and 70,000 women die of breast cancer in India. So 50% mortality. While in the West, the incidence is 2.35 or 2.3, or you can say 2.5, and only 40,000 women die. So 1/5 of them die, 4/5 of them are alive. The reasons are very obvious, and I congratulate you for having this program. The reasons are that our women come late in the diagnosis. More women, 50% of them come in stage 3, and in stage 3, whatever you do, even the latest advances in the medical treatment, the mortality is around 40% to 50%. So our women are not coming forward in early stages, which is stage 1 and stage 2, and the reasons are numerous. Lack of awareness. Our women do not know what are the early signs, and I think when you show the film, they'll know what early signs they should be looking for. Secondly, they think that it cannot happen to me. Thirdly, they think that my parents never had it, so I can't have it. And fourthly, they think I've been a good daughter, a good mother, a good wife, and a good home care, and a good diet. I take good diets. Why should it happen to me? And the thing is that breast cancer can happen to anyone, to any women, and the older you are, the higher the risk. So 75% of the women with breast cancer in India do not have any risk factors. So it can happen to anyone. So don't be shy. Discuss about it. It's your own part. It's a beautiful part. Preserve it. If you come in early, you save the life, and you also save your breast, and you also save the money. So, you know, you are benefiting on all accounts if you come in early, and there is nothing to be scarred off that I have breast cancer, and people will say, oh, she has a breast cancer. As I said, it can happen to anybody. It's just, you know, there are risk factors, but God can choose anyone. At the moment, we do not know exactly why every woman get a breast cancer. So awareness is the key to reduce mortality.
So which age group is maximally at risk?
Hello, can you unmute? Yeah. In young women, the breast cancer is more aggressive, and in our country, less than 40 years of age, 13% of the women will get breast cancer less than 40. While in the West, it's only 7%. So our younger women are getting breast cancer. That may be because our younger population is much more. You know, we have a structure of age where the young population in India, the older is much less. But having said that, the breast cancer is a bit more aggressive in the young, but with better treatment, their outlook is the same as the older women because they can tolerate the chemo, they can tolerate the radiation, they have no comorbidities. So they undertake the treatment very well, and the treatment has saved 50% of the lives in America, and early detection has saved 50% of the lives, you know, in America. So the medical treatment also saves your life. So younger women, we treat them a little bit more aggressively.
Dr. Kant, everybody's question is on early detection. So what do you say? How do we detect this early? Let's explain it to our general population. What do we do to detect it early?
Thank you, Dr. Amrita, for having me over. And before we start our discussion, I think I would like to compliment and congratulate FLO Amritsar, headed by none other than my daughter, Meeta. And of course, starting with the invocation by Sonam was great. Coming back to your question about early detection, I think the problem what Dr. Sareen was saying, and that you also came out, that the Indian women are very shy of going to a doctor. Particularly, they keep themselves at the last of this thing. Many times in our clinic, we say when we find that, as Dr. Sareen was saying, that the women come at the almost stage 3. When I ask him, Madam, why didn't you come? Oh, नहीं डॉक्टर साहब मेरे नूह दा पुत्र होना सीगा और नूह दा बच्चा होना सीगा. You know, they have their priorities are the last. Actually, the priority should be the first. I remember a famous saying by my father is to say, unless you look after your health, you can't look after others' health. So it's very important. So what happens that basically, you know, for early detection, we have to follow certain screening protocol. We have to have a self-examination every month that you are going to show the film. Then we have to have a clinical examination every year. I'm sure all FLO members who are listening to our talk, I'm sure even 10% would have not gone to their lady doctor for a clinical examination of the breast, which is so important. And then we start the screening program by help of the mammography. Now, basically, the protocol which we follow in mammography is that we start screening at the age of 40. And there's a lot of controversy in mammography for early detection. Actually, if you take USA, they want it should be done every year. If you take European, they want it should be done every 2 years. If you take British, they want once in 3 years. There is a lot of controversy. But over the years, I've been in practice for 35 years. We have come up with a kind of a middle sort of a, arrangement where we say that a baseline mammogram at 35, annual once in 2 years from 40 to 70, unless there's a first degree relative which is affected, then we do it once a year. So I think these 3 components are very important for early detection: self-examination every month, clinical examination once a year, and mammography starting at the age of 40, once in 2 years till you are 70.
Okay. So IT team, let's have the video for self-examination. Sir has stressed so much on self-examination. So let's play the video for self-examination.
Breast self-examination. Observing the breasts. First, stand in front of a mirror so that you can see at least up to your neck and down to your waist. Now, keeping your hands on your hips, look at the size and shape of each breast. If you notice any changes, you need to consult a doctor. But do remember that it is not unusual for one breast to be larger than the other. Look also for any puckering, dimpling, or any other changes in your skin. Now look at your nipples. Is there any change in the position of either nipple? Also, look for any retraction of the nipples or discharge from them. If you have large breasts, lift them up slightly to examine them underneath. Again, look for any changes in the skin here. Now raise your arms over your head and look for similar skin and nipple changes. Continue the examination with your hands clasped behind your neck, pressing them forward and tightening your chest muscles. Finally, place your hands on your hips, press down and in, and look again for any changes in your nipples and skin. Feeling the breasts. Lie down and place a folded towel under your shoulder on the side you're going to examine first. Raise your arm under which you have placed the towel. You may find it most comfortable to place your hand under your head. The area you will examine includes not only your breast, but also the area up to your collarbone, as well as below your breast, across to the breastbone, and over to your armpit. Using the pads of your first 3 fingers, begin to examine your breast using a series of small circular motions, each about the size of a rupee coin. You should use 3 levels of pressure: light, medium, and firm. This way, you can feel the different layers of breast tissue. Using this technique, trace a series of vertical strips moving from the collarbone to below the breast and back up again in zigzags until you cover the entire area. You may also use a technique where you trace a series of concentric circles towards your nipple, or a method where you cover the area through a series of wedges. Use the pattern that you're most comfortable with. But the most important thing is to cover the entire area of the breast. Also, squeeze the nipple gently and see if there is any discharge. If there is any discharge, please see your doctor. Now repeat the entire process on your other side by placing the folded towel under the opposite shoulder.
Thank you. Sir, you say mammography is the investigation of choice. So though the protocol, the frequency is different in different parts of the world, but since India is not, people are not that resourceful, can we replace mammography with sonography?
I think Amrita is a very good question, and there's been a lot of debate going on that how we should be in a poor country like India, how we should be going about actually downgrading this thing. As Dr. Serene said, that more than 50% come to us as stage 3. So we want to at least, even if we can bring down to stage 2, that will be great. So the role of ultrasound, let me also explain you that, see, when we take a mammogram, when we take a breast screening group, there are two groups we actually come across. One is a screening group, pure screening group, and southern is a diagnostic group. Yeah. Screening group, it has to be mammography. The reason being that in a screening book, the participants are healthy women. They've come for their routine, this thing, they have no complaints of the breast. They've come because they are 40 plus, they have a family history or whatever it is. So we pick up something called as a microcalcification. The microcalcification is a hallmark of early breast cancer, which we call ductal carcinoma in situ, DCIS. Stage 1-0 disease, where it has gone nowhere. So even a small excision can do the job. And sometimes, of course, we have to follow with the radiotherapy, but no chemotherapy. Of course, Dr. Serene is a better person to talk about that. So screening, pure screening, we have to have a mammography. But large number of our women, they come with a complaint. They complain with the nipple discharge, or they come with a lump, or they come with a pain. So there where we should be doing an ultrasound. But as a short gap arrangement, as you are saying, and that we have a very, we don't have so many mammography equipment, so we don't have so many trained power. We can actually find our own solutions in India, where we can do a breast self-examination, clinical examination. And if you find anything in clinical examination, then you can go to ultrasound. And if an ultrasound you find too suspicious, you can switch over to mammography to understand it. So it's a very, we have to do something to which fits in our budget in this country.
Yeah. So it is doable. So in whatever way we can manage, our aim is to detect it as early as possible. And
Detect and to downgrade.
Yes.
The downgrading is important because large number of women are coming at stage 3. So we have to downgrade it. And if we can downgrade from stage 3 to stage 2, we have really achieved a lot.
so, Dr. Neeti, how did you come to know about your problem?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for having me over. Thank you, Meeta. I had never actually thought about cancer. Like cancer always seemed like a very filmy bimari to me. Like anytime, that in a movie, they have to show somebody dying to arouse pity, you know it's cancer. Or every time that a doctor says, aapke paas zyada time nahi hai, they're going to show cancer. So that is the kind of image that I had about it. Thankfully, there's no family history. And honestly, I had never done a self-breast exam. But I was lucky that the lump was on the surface of my breast. And it was just a chance encounter, either while bathing or changing clothes, that I felt the lump. And I thought that it was related to menses initially, since during periods, there are so many changes in the breast that happen. And I slept over it for whole 2 months thinking that it will go away. But of course it didn't. And I was actually so naive. I didn't know what kind of a doctor to go to if you have a lump in the breast. I didn't know that somebody as a breast surgeon also existed as a specialty. So I Googled. And that is how I came across the doctors and all the investigation started. And it was, we got to know that I had cancer.
Okay. So once it was diagnosed, did you feel that it was like a death sentence? Oh, ab to bas khatam. Or you were confident ki, nahi, let's see. Were you aware that it is treatable, it's curable?
No. So after the FNAC report was actually conclusive in telling, that I had cancer. And I was given a call by the FNAC center asking me to go and collect the report with my husband. So though we had an ultrasound report, that said that the lump was benign. So after getting the ultrasound done, we were very happy and, very sure that there was no cancer. So when I got a call from the FNAC center, so on our way there, I was already knowing, that of course it's something bad. Otherwise I would not have been called with my husband. We reached there and we were told that I had cancer. The doctor actually told me to look after my husband because he looked more distraught. I never asked God, why did this happen to me? That was never a question that happened. I somehow had this faith that I'm going to be okay. Like my focus never honestly went to whether or not would I live or how much time do I have. And this was even before I didn't know the stage. So those things really didn't cross my mind. Yeah.
So it was your positive attitude that helped you to come out of it, to fight with it, besides, of course, the treatment.
That did, of course. The treatment, the doctors, my family, the faith that I have, everything has been a blessing. Dr. Serene is my treating doctor, so she's my angel who's given me life.
So Dr. Serene, since we say the incidence is more in the West and also in India, it is much more in urban population. So does lifestyle has anything to do with it?
Yes, that is true. The scientific evidence does suggest that 30%, almost 1/3 of the cancers of the breast occur because of our lifestyle. Our lifestyle changes, and I'll tell you what those lifestyle changes are. Some of them we cannot change. And so we cannot change the incidence too much. The lifestyle changes are that we have a sedentary life. We are working in front of the computer now during COVID-19, no activity, no exercises. And the large number of, obesity is a problem in India now. So being obese, eating a junk food, not being active, also lots of industrialization, and women are taking to alcohol. All these factors are lifestyle changes. As I said, industrialization and better nutrition. Because the nutrition is better, So obviously girls are getting periods at a younger age, say 11 and 12. Before you saw 14, 15, they were dubli patli. Now they are all full-blown women by 11 or 12. And also the menopause is happening at a later age. So the longer the time you have between menarche and menopause, the longer your breasts are hammered और उन पे हार्मोन का इफेक्ट होता है, उतना ही रिस्क थोड़ा ज़्यादा होता है. तो आपकी इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन कम नहीं हो सकती है, आपके न्यूट्रिशन हम नहीं कह सकते हैं कि आप कम कर दो, you go back to unhealthy times. The one thing that we can do is to be active, not to eat junk food, to have the proper weight, and also not to have stress and anxiety and have a good sleep. You know, all these factors do matter. So that's why there is a lot of support in being doing yogas and meditation and everything else. So all these things haven't proven to be risk factors, but I think these things help, you know, in keeping your correct weight. So some of the factors we can change and we should change, and that can reduce the incidence by one third of the cases.
Because breastfeeding, isn't it that breastfeeding reduces the risk?
Yes, that's another thing. Yes, not having children or having children after the age of 35 is a risk factor. So we are advocating that you can have both marriage and children and your career. You can have a balance between the three and try and have the balance. I know sometimes it's not easy, but the other thing that you can do, if you can't change, you know, you can't get married early, you can't have children, or you can't have breastfeed, then the best thing to do is to do an early detection. That Colonel Pant said how to do an early detection. So in stage 1 and stage 2, there is almost a 90% chance of a cure, and that's for sure. That's what happens in America. In stage 1 and 2, 90% with the treatment. So I think if you're told that you will live normally, then there should be no hesitation to come in early and to come in if you have any symptoms at all.
And also, Dr. Serene, is it that a woman always has to lose her breast? Because that is one factor that women stay in a denial mode, even if they feel something wrong.
Yeah, Amrita, that's a very good question for your awareness purposes. And I keep saying that you don't have to lose your breast. If you get a breast cancer, you don't have to lose your breast. And especially if you come in early stage 1 and 2, if the tumor is smaller than 4 centimeter and you have a normal size breast, your breast can be saved, your nipple can be saved, your areola can be saved, your sex life can be saved, your life can be saved, and your money can be saved. So if everything can be saved and you are the one unlucky one to get it, I think you shouldn't be blaming your luck and your God. You should just come in and say, I am going to be well. They don't have to lose their breast. Having said that, I think any doctor doing a breast saving surgery or breast conservative surgery have to look into many facts to do a good excision of the tumor and follow it up with the radiation and other treatment. So you don't have to lose your breast if you come in early.
And do you agree, all women need all three, surgery, radiation, chemo?
Yeah, now, you know, like I said, the medical treatment has advanced, the medicines have advanced, the infrastructure has advanced. We know the biology of the breast cancer. There are 4 different types. One type is very aggressive, but we have lots of good medicines to counteract that. As we said, that younger women mostly require all 3. They require surgery, radiation, and chemo. The very old, 70 and above, 75 and 80, we usually save them from chemotherapy because they are hormone receptor positive, about 80% of them. So sometimes you can save them the chemotherapy, and that's the age women don't like to undergo chemotherapy. But younger women, most often than not, they do get all the 3 treatments. But it's a question of 6 months, just 6 months of your life. You know, just give that 6 months entirely to the doctor or to the God and to everybody. and just go through that, and then you can have a normal life. As you can see Neeti Lekha Chabra just jumping around, dancing around. The moment she sees a raindrop, she starts dancing, you know.
Dr. Pal, since the confirmatory diagnosis always means a biopsy, so doesn't biopsy increase the risk, like the needle track, people feel the tumor will spread due to biopsy?
I think Dr. Amrita, Dr. Serene will be able to get better, but you see what has happened that earlier days when you used to use a big bore needle, say bore of a 12 or so it left a track, and there were few cases which were reported in the literature that there was a track settling. But now that with the advancement, as Dr. Serene was saying, with the in the treatment and in the even in the diagnostics, we use a thinner gauge biopsy needles which don't leave any track. So this is a myth that a lot of people say, oh, if we get a biopsy done, then oh, it will spread this way. So because of that, unfortunately, they delay their treatment, and then they land up in stage 3 and the survival. You see that I would like to talk one small thing about here also. The survival, as Dr. Serene was saying, that no one dies, depends on at the stage which we have been diagnosed. If you are diagnosed at stage 1, we talk about a 5-year survival. The 5-year survival is more than 97%. That means, and we don't follow after that. So the stage 1 is 97% 5-year survival. Stage 2, almost 82, 83% 5-year survival. Stage 3, it is about 47% 5-year survival. Stage 4, it is only 27%. So it is very, very important that people should be subjecting themselves to some kind of screening, whether they are going through self-examination or they are going to clinical examination or they are going to followed by ultrasound or mammography. It is very, very important that they should be subjecting themselves. You see that fear that, oh, if I'll go, something will come out, then what will happen? That doesn't serve the purpose. One should face the situation, one should go to things, and as Dr. Serene rightly said, that even the worst scenario, even if you have a breast cancer, it is only 6 months of your life, which I'm sure in your 80 years of, say, survival, 6 months is nothing. So I think there where it's important that the awareness is very important. Every woman should be aware that breast cancer is curable if detected early.
So you're talking of myth. This is a myth, right? So what about mammography? Because many people think that mammography involves X-ray radiation, and that itself will increase the risk of breast cancer. What do you...
Again, Dr. Amrita, very good question and very common question which have been asked by us, because we keep asking, because I run a screening program for last 35 years, and many times normally we expect these patients to come back to us, people to come back to us after two years. Sometimes they come after 3 years, and sometimes they come, oh, doctor, we have read that Google Master. The Google Master is great these days. For everything, you go to Google. Forget about doctors, and so they go to Google Doctor, and then there all kinds of information comes. Let me explain you a very simple thing, that all of us are exposed to radiation which is existing in atmosphere all around us. It can be created by your towers, it can be created by your air travel, it can be created by sun, it can be created by soil, so many things, which is equivalent to 6 mammography in a year. We are exposed to hidden radiation from the atmosphere equivalent to 6 mammography in a year. 7th mammography is not going to do anything, but early detection saves lives. So I think we have to see risk-benefit ratio. The benefit of routine screening is far outweighs the risk. One has to think about the theoretical risk of radiation. Actually, sorry, yesterday we had a webinar, and the participant was no other person than Daniel Kopan, who is the father of the breast imaging in the world. And he says, because they do every year from 40 to 69, this in my career of more than 40 years, I have not seen one case related to radiation risk from the routine mammography. And they do they'll end up doing about 30 mammograms in each lady from 40 to 69.
Yeah, they do it annually. So, Dr. Neeti, are you following now a regular checkup or follow-up or the screening protocol now? after your treatment?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, it is not out of a fear of recurrence, no, but something that I'm supposed to do. And now I know that, you know, even if cancer would not have happened, these are regular checkups that need to be done. And of course, once you've been through it, it's more important to look after your body and, you know, to be sure that everything is in place always. So I follow up everything that has been told to me by the doctors very, very religiously.
How do you feel this life after the treatment? Is there any difference, or you are more energized to live it to the fullest?
It is different. It has become more beautiful, honestly. So as a child also, you know, I have been a very carefree person, but I think that with responsibilities, marriage, job, kids, you know, you kind of some way lose yourself, the inner child that you have. But post my treatment, I have got that side of my, you know, of my inner child back. And I have generally, of course, you know, you understand the importance of life. I'm able to manage the stress so much better now. You know, I don't overcomplicate my life by over analyzing things. I'm better able to take care of my health, exercise, and, you know, do whatever gives me happiness. So I am utilizing this time of lockdown also by learning belly dance, so something that I had been planning to do for so long. So it's just small little things, you know, that seem possible now. And I, of course, got one of the bigger purposes of my life, which is yes to life. So I left my job, my career, and I'm totally devoted to the cause now, and it gives me so much of happiness that it's again one of the great blessings that I have because of this.
I truly understand that giving is the best form of happiness and satisfaction you can ever get in life.
Dr. Amrita, sorry for interruption, but I must tell you that all our patients who come to us and we diagnose a breast cancer, day one, they think that it is the end of life, it is a death sentence. And we, among many people, we send them to Neeti. And we say, go and see Neeti and meet her. And you'll be really, and Neeti does a great job. God bless her. She's wonderful. She's an angel. And people, when they say, there's a Dr. Pant, you have sent us to the right person. We are so happy to meet her. And now we know that it's not a death sentence. Actually, she's a great motivator.
That's so sweet.
And Amrita, I just want to add, like Neeti said, that it's a health checkup. It's not only a health checkup. I want to tell you, and I mean, tell the audiences that if you have a breast cancer on one side, you have 2 times or 3 times the risk of getting it in the opposite side. So it's even more essential for the person to have a checkup of the opposite side. I mean, Neeti, of course, we did a mastectomy for whatever reasons, and she's got her breast reconstructed, she can say it. But it's very important for her to have a checkup of the opposite one. इसके सर पे डंडा लगेगा अगर ये नहीं आएगी तो, because she's the one who is doing this. And also, I just want to add, lots of people have the myth के needle डालने से कैंसर के सेल स्प्रेड हो जाते हैं बाकी बॉडी में, नीडल ट्रैक में नहीं, बाकी बॉडी में फैल जाते हैं. So that is an entire myth. Millions and millions and millions of needle biopsies have been done in all types of cancer, not just breast, abdomen, chest, everywhere. And there is no evidence that needle spreads the cancer in the rest of the body. So people should be rest assured that it does not spread, and needle biopsy is the only 200% way to say whether this is cancer or this is not cancer. We can say highly suspicious on mammogram and ultrasound and examination, but 100% evidence is only on a needle biopsy.
Thank you, Dr. Serene. And I would have loved to continue, but we have questions from our audience also. So I would now pass over to Dr. Simarpreet for the question and answer session. She's also our current finance secretary, so who's a very strict one at that.
Important one.
And so
important member of finance.
I may interrupt Dr. Amrita. She's the treasurer, Amrita. So Amrita.
She deals with money, no?
Yeah, she's the one with the moolah.
So,
money makes the mayor go.
Yeah. So over to you, Dr. Simarpreet, for question and answer session.
Thank you, everybody. I am indeed, it was a very fruitful evening. And thank you, Dr. Serene, Dr. Colonel Pant, and Dr. Neeti Lekha. I'm an oral, cancer specialist, and we deal, for me, it was, I understand the, importance of early detection. And thank you for reiterating that. And yes, we are on a task under the leadership of Neeta and our team Sambhav, and we shall be working earnestly for early detection and yes, downgrading the grade. And without wasting more time, I would just go on to the first question, which is by Tanya Khanna, a vocalist, homemaker, owner of Melody Home, recording studio in Amritsar, and our joint treasurer. So Tanya has a question for Colonel Pant. Over to Tanya Khanna.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Simar. A very good evening to everybody. Thank you so much for this insightful session. And my question is for Dr. Pant. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yeah, very well. Come on.
Okay. Dr. Pant, my question is for you. So does wearing underwired or black bras increase the risk of breast cancer? This is actually a question which a lot of us here would want to know the answer of.
So, I don't know from where this myth comes. I have failed to understand, and I think I blame this Google guru for giving all kinds of this thing. Please understand, the underwire bra or black bra or brown bra, whatever color you want to say, has nothing to do with this thing. As Dr. Serena Saman, there are some risk factors when you talk about, say, first baby after 30 years or no children or early menarche, late menopause. These are the scientific thing. There's no science behind underwire bra or black bra or red bra. I don't know how these questions even come from, where they emanate. I don't understand what is the source. I think I should be going for that source and sue them for these misinformation and myths going around.
So this is good that it's at least out of our heads now. So I'm glad, we know the right way, and especially coming from you.
And actually, the three of us will be available to you. The Mita is our numbers and all this. Please feel free to send us your, even after this session is over, we are available to you. There are no charges, please. So please feel free to talk to us, send your questions, whatever between three of us, we'll divide who wants to answer what questions. We have a very cohesive team that way in Forum for Breast Cancer Protection. We're all members of that forum. We showed you this self-examination. Before the next question asked, I have a small request. We have shared this self-examination video with Mita. It should be distributed to one and all, whether it is your housemaid or your next door neighbor and this thing. Right. There should not be any shy. As Dr. Sarin says, it's a beautiful part of your body. You should take care of that. So everyone should do a self-examination once a month. Premenopausal women should do when the periods are over, so the breast is soft. Postmenopausal should assign a date, say first Sunday of every month or whatever dates there's them. But once they assign that date, they should do it regularly. I think these are very important things we should be doing. We should not be getting into all these myths. We should be real in our approach and follow the guidelines which are being given. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anything else?
Thank you.
मैं थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे आना चाहूँगी, क्योंकि हम में से बहुत औरतें हैं जो ये स्ट्रेस लेके बैठ जाएं कि अरे मेरे को तो 12 तारीख को ब्रेस्ट सेल्फ एग्जामिनेशन करना था, मैंने करा नहीं है, 14 तारीख हो गई, 15 हो गई, आप छुट्टी पे हो. So I would say that आप just do it once a month, once in 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Look at your breast when you're having a bath, and after the bath, look at them and see what they look like. And any change that you see, anytime, you should actually go to the doctor. So don't be stressed about कि भाई इसी date को करना है. It could be any date as long as you remember to do it, once in a month or once in 6 weeks or once in 7 weeks. यहाँ तो हम लोग करते ही नहीं है, एक साल बीत जाता करते ही नहीं है. Okay, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. And we do understand. the importance. Now, the next question is by Raminder Grover. I would say Rotarian Raminder Grover, who is not only, our executive council member, but is also working for Rotary Cancer Awareness and is administrator of Preet Hospital. Over to Raminder. She would like to ask a question from Dr. Ramesh Sareen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Simmerpreet. Good evening. I'm Raminder Grover. Ma'am, in hospital, I have seen ladies, even in late 30s and 40s, presenting with the breast cancer. My question for Dr. Sareen is, what is the prognosis of breast cancer in younger age group?
हाँ, रविंदर जी, पहले भी ये मैं स्ट्रेस कर चुकी हूँ कि इंडिया में यंग लोगों में ब्रेस्ट कैंसर थोड़ा ज़्यादा होता है. सो पर ज़्यादा होता है तो उसके लिए एज वी सेड थोड़ा तो लाइफस्टाइल. आपको पता है आजकल बच्चे रात को देर देर तक मूवीज़ देखते हैं, सोते नहीं हैं, सोने में फिर सुबह उठते हैं तो दे आर नॉट फ्रेश. So all these do create some hormones and they are anxious and they're worried and they have problem, and then if you don't sleep you tend to eat, you put on weight, you don't go for your walks. So all those things right from a young age should be taught to the young people, that eating the right diet, having the right exercises, having the right kind of sleeping at the same time every day, and also stress bursting yoga और meditation, ये बहुत important चीज़ें हैं. बट यंग लोगों में होता है उसका हम, as we said, the only way we can reduce is lifestyle changes. पर अगर किसी को होना होता है तो it's aggressive, but early diagnosis and the best treatment can save your life as much as in the older people. So I hope that answers your question. कुछ और है आपके दिमाग में?
अभी सर ने मीनोपॉज के बारे में बात की थी. Some ladies they just talk about this. Okay, will I go through menopause as a result of a treatment? Will I able to have children after the treatment? Would I be able to be a breastfeed?
हाँ, ऐसा है that the children, the younger you are, say if somebody has it at the age of 26, 27, 28, then in spite of the chemotherapy, the periods come back. But the older you are, if you're at the age of 40, then chemotherapy will produce menopause, And in any case, at the age of 40, we don't even advise having children. Now, there is a lot of talk about saving your ovary, saving your ovum, saving your embryo. If you have a partner, तो आपका ova plus sperms can be matted together and you can have an embryo. Embryo can be saved for many years till the time we tell the women, now you're free of cancer, you can go and have your child. Lots of these actresses who continue to work save their ovas and save their embryos and have children at the age of 35, but the embryo is young, so it doesn't matter if you're 35, you understand. So we have a department where we do advise young women to save their ovum, and if they have a partner, embryos, otherwise ova can be saved. And it only takes 2 weeks before starting the treatment. But otherwise, if somebody has one child, then we tell them to go ahead with the treatment. In fact, Neeti has another friend who is not here, is Shruti. Shruti had saved her embryos, but she couldn't become pregnant. She said, doesn't matter, I'll adopt a child. So she adopted a child and she's the happiest woman on earth. So there are many ways to be happy. It just has to be the inner happiness, that matters a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, beautifully put in, Dr. Sareen. It is the inner happiness that actually matters. Now, the next question, we invite Mrs. Radhika Khanna, and she lives in Mumbai and owns a catering business, which she started when she got cancer. So another cancer survivor. She worked right through, fun-loving, refusing to grow old, good friend of Meeta Mehra, social entrepreneur, squeezing the sense out of life. Wow. So our next question, and Radhika wants to ask Niti Lekha a question. So over to Radhika.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, firstly, I'm honored to be on this panel. It's amazing. I'm already feeling empowered. I did have cancer almost 10 years ago, and my question will be relevant to that. But first, I just want to say actually, everything everyone is saying over here resonates with me. How one feels, how nervous one feels, how one deals with it, all the very practical advice that Dr. Sareen has given, and also this feeling of what Niti said, that once you go through an experience like this, whether you know it overtly or not, something changes inside you and you just become greedy for life and you want to make every minute count, probably because of that little bit of that fear of, am I going to die, am I going to lose everything? So these were all the thoughts that I had in my head all through. And before I ask Niti and Dr. Sareen my question, I just want to say one thing. I wrote a little note down to so that I would remember what to say. I want to tell everyone out there, don't be scared. There's nothing to be scared about. Just go and face whatever problems you have head on. And there are so many beautiful people around us who you would never imagine have been through such a traumatic illness. But they come out of it and they move on. And yes, of course, there are stages and you have to catch it at the right time and all that. But there's also medication, there is also mental resolve that counts, and it helps to have people with a positive attitude all around you. And breast cancer is one of those cancers which has become the most curable now. So I did want to say all this, but I also want to ask Niti, and actually this has been answered already over and over again in the last 1 hour, but you know, when you've been through something like this, you always have that sword hanging over your head. फिर से तो नहीं आ जाएगा. And so what does one do then? I mean, Dr. Sareen said one of the things you have to deal with is stress. But there's always that little bit of stress. So anything to say about that?
Hi, Radhika.
Hi, Niti.
So good to know how strong you are. And so, you know, when Dr. Sareen said, like, when I mentioned that, you know, follow-ups are like health checkups, she said, no, it's to do with much more. The only reason why I said that was that every time that I go for a follow-up, I am not scared that what if it comes out again. That is why I am not fearful of when I am going for my follow-ups. I just go there and get them done. Two things that, and it is not that I never have a thought of recurrence, I do have, but there are two things, you know, that have been helping me to kind of take care of that fear whenever it comes, if it comes. One is that during the time periods when I'm taking very good care of myself, you know, like if suppose I know that I'm exercising well, you know, I'm sleeping right, I'm not stressing, I automatically have that confidence that I'm going to be fine. Because you know certain risk factors that increase, and if you're taking good care of yourself, I think that is all that you can do, or that is what is in your hands.
True.
So taking those steps or actions to stay healthy give you a lot of confidence. Two, if I ever feel a little scared, or maybe not scared, you know, but there are these thoughts that do come.
Sure.
If those come, I always do a positive affirmation. So I thank God for blessing me, keeping me healthy. Every morning when I get up, I say thank you to my body for being perfectly fit, healthy. I thank all of my cells, organ systems in the body for being perfectly happy and healthy. And I do all of these affirmations every morning when I get up. And so I have realized, you know, that when you keep doing this, that is what becomes your thought process, you know. So those fears or those negative feelings don't come as often if you are in that positive mode by practicing these little 2 or 3 things. So for me, taking good care of myself and positive affirmations is doing a pretty good job at keeping me happy and not being too fearful about it coming back.
Great, great. Thank you. And you know, I think, like even I said, you have to have a positive attitude, but I think you just said what that positive attitude comes from. Taking care of oneself and then just moving on.
Yeah, Radhika,
Yes, doctor.
Niti Lekha has actually, we've done a lot of support group meetings, and we are great Bhagata of Sister Shivani, and she keeps telling us how to remain positive, and what she said is so correct कि आप अपने आप को बोलो कि मेरे चारों तरफ एक प्रोटेक्टिव कवच है, मेरे वो कवच के अंदर कैंसर नहीं घुस सकता है, वो आया था, वो चला गया है, उसको ये भी हैव हाई वाइब्रेशन वर्ड्स कि मेरे चारों तरफ गोल्ड लाइट है, आई एम हेल्दी, आई एम परफेक्ट, my cells are healthy, my family is healthy, I am healthy. Every morning, thanks, of course, to God, or thanks to your body, you know. So, as she said, आप ये हर रोज सुबह, दोपहर, शाम को, रात को अपने आप को बोलते रहोगे तो आपका एटीट्यूड ही पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा. You know, ये नहीं कि
Thank you,
रिमेन
doctor.
पॉजिटिव, वो एटीट्यूड ही पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा. अभी आपको पता है ये तो बिल्कुल ठीक है. एक बारी मेरे पेट में दर्द हुआ, मेरे को लगा कहीं कैंसर तो नहीं है, तो पूरी रात मैं अमेरिका घूम आई, सर्जरी कहाँ कराऊंगी, किससे कराऊंगी, क्या होएगा, क्या नहीं होएगा. And you know, they were like, and then you go into your meditation mood, and everything disappears and you sleep off, you know. So I think meditation and this positive affirmations is a great thing. And sometimes if Meeta requires, we could have a lecture from Sister Shivani for all of us again. You know, we love to be affirmations over and over and over again. You know, वो एक बार ही कहने से कुछ नहीं होता, बार बार बोलना पड़ता है अपने आप को.
Thank you, Dr. Sareen.
Thank you,
take
doctor.
up on that.
Yes,
I am.
Meeta, I also want to say thank you. Really, those are very the words which give you a lot of strength.
Yes,
and
I can't
want to say thank you for bringing me here.
Meeta, before you wrap up, I have a small this thing to say.
Yes, uncle.
So, Meeta, actually, I think it's very important for all of the women who have attended today's lectures to go home and talk to their mothers and their masis and their aunts, because what is happening in our older generation, they hide. They don't, as I say, that their own priority is the last. And we have seen that, as probably Dr. Sareen didn't mention, she always mentions that she has seen patients with the wound with the maggots. You know, that's a very scary thing when it is stinking in others. So many times, Dr. Sareen will vouch, and she has seen patients where the maggots, and why is because they don't want to show to this thing. You know, earlier good old days when we had a joint family, this thing they could share with the Derani, Jetani, and all that in the family. Now we have a nuclear family. We don't share. So please, all the women who are participating today, please go home. Talk to your mothers, talk to your aunts, talk to your grandmothers, that if they have any problem related to anything, whether breast is definitely one, but anything else, they should not hide. Because if you hide, then you are postponing your this thing. And as Dr. Sareen says, not only your treatment will be very harsh, you'll suffer a lot, there'll be more expenses. So please them that don't feel shy. Talk to your doctors, talk to your friends. If they don't want to talk to doctors, they can talk to any one of you who has attended today's program. They can talk to Dr. Sareen, they can talk to they can talk to me, they can talk to Niti, anyone. We are all available for this because we've been working in this since 2000 at the leadership of Dr. Sareen, that we want to spread the message that if detected early, breast cancer is curable. Please, that's our humble request to all this thing, that please talk to your maids, talk to any woman in your this thing who is 30 plus, that they should not hide their symptoms. You know, they must share with someone, you know, so that it doesn't get delayed, you know. Yeah.
My request to Chair Meeta, we had one request by Rotarian Vijay Nair. So he wanted to ask a question. So I've taken the liberty to, you know, he's on board. So he wanted to ask a question. Yeah, over to, Mr. Vijay Nair.
First, I must thank all the path-breaking debate today about breast cancer. why I'm interested, in this Summarize. I met Geeta ji and Chabra. They are real warriors. They have fought very well. And Dr. Serene is like a goddess, like a Durga today, that she's inspiring and she's a motivator. And Dr. Pant, you are really godfather, not to only Meeta, to all of us, who are in this fighting this. My first question is that I understand that a black woman or brown woman are much prone to breast cancer. Is it true? Almost 40% of the breast cancer is by the brown or black woman.
And ma'am, would you like to answer that?
I think, Mr. Nair, you must be talking of this brown or black, the American kind of women, You have the white, the Hispanic, and the originals and the black. हम तो सारे ही black हैं. हमारा तो incidence अभी अमेरिका से आधा है. But of course, with our lifestyle changes, we are expecting it will be the same as America in 2040. So in another 20 years time, every year it is increasing by 1%, rise. So हिंदुस्तान में तो सारे black हैं, तो brown or black हैं, तो
They're
इसलिए
beautiful women here also.
of course we are very beautiful. If we should tell ourselves we are beautiful. That's why you will also look at us as beautiful. तो मतलब कि हिंदुस्तान में नहीं, अमेरिका में ब्लैक वुमेन्स का कैंसर थोड़ा ज़्यादा एग्रेसिव होता है और ज़्यादा लोग ब्लैक वुमेन ज़्यादा मरते हैं. And I think the reason again is little uneducation in the black women and late stage, and also non-availability, or they're not insured, so they don't get the right treatment, they don't get the proper treatment. आजकल एक treatment ऐसी निकली हुई है कि 3 लाख हर 3 हफ्तों में होती है. I don't want to scare you, but that only happens in 10%. तो वो लेने से तो अगर आपका स्टेज 3 भी है तब भी 60% सर्वाइवल है. So वो black women को availability of medical treatment, availability of early detection, they don't go for mammography, they come in late stage. So the reason is late stage. It's not just black and white. हाँ जी.
My second suggestion is that in breast cancer, I'm a trainer, I'm a motivator. I promote a lot of breast cancer simulators. I think they're becoming very, very popular. And I'm sure Dr. Pant and Dr. Serene, you must be aware that by simulators or by mannequins, we can motivate or we can treat or we can teach and give them more information about the breast cancer at home or in the this training programs. So what is your suggestion? We should promote it. We have a big demand for this breast cancer simulators now.
Mr. Nair, it is a very, very good device to let people feel the breast. I mean, you have kanchas or rodis or whatever inside a silicone processes, तो वो feel करेंगे. because बहुत बारी औरतें आती हैं हमारे पास, कहती हैं मैडम हमने feel तो करा पर हमें पता नहीं, ये guilty है कि सिर्फ thickening है. Lots of young women have this thickening before the periods. So they are not able to discern whether it's a lump or whether it's a thickening. और थिकनिंग होने से बेचारी परेशान रहती हैं जब तक डॉक्टर के पास नहीं जाती. तो अगर उनको सिमुलेटर पे सिखा दिया जाए कि क्या गिल्टी होती है, कैसी फील होती है, obviously they'll be more empowered. So you're very right that simulators should be available in every clinic. And women should be told कि जाओ palpate करके देखो, and some nurse or somebody can teach them, what is a proper lump and what is not a lump. हाँ जी.
I will suggest to Meeta ji I will show her one of the simulator in a very near future, maybe on Monday or Tuesday. And for the awareness program, she can use them very well.
I think that's a very great idea because you see, our whole purpose is awareness. You see, because as Dr. Serene says that more than 50% of our patients are coming at stage 3. So if we spread the awareness, that is the main motto of our forum, that is spread awareness. And awareness can be spread in any way. If you have these simulators. I don't know how much these gadgets cost and what is there, but I think, as Dr. Sareen says, it is a great thing for women to understand what is wrong with her breast. Yeah.
Thank
Very
you
good
so
for
much.
awareness.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Rotarian
so much.
Nair.
Thank you for your input, Vijay uncle. Thank you. We'll connect soon.
Always with
Yeah.
Thank you. Over to you, Sima.
Yeah, and now we move on to the most important part of any webinar and for the virtual meeting. Over to Mrs. Manjot Dhillon, who's a senior vice chair and director of Mount Zilitra School. Over to Manjot Dhillon.
Thank you, Dr. Simmer. It's been a very emotional and an inspirational session. And there are a few lines I'd like to say before I move on to the formal word of thanks. लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती। नन्ही चींटी जब दाना लेकर चलती है, चढ़ती दीवारों पर 100 बार फिसलती है। मन का विश्वास रगों में साहस भरता है, चढ़कर गिरना, गिरकर चढ़ना ना अखरता है। आखिर उसकी मेहनत बेकार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती।
हार नहीं होती।
Beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful.
We all know the enemy is vicious. The battle may make us weary, but if we are all together, तो इस दुश्मन को हराना संभव है। हम साथ हैं तो संभव है। I sincerely thank our past presidents, governing body members, and members from all chapters across India who added more strength to this cause with their presence today. Dr. Sareen, the decades of selfless service you have done to rid the world of this scourge cannot be encapsulated in words. But I express our humble gratitude for joining us today and supporting our endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Pant, we at Flow Amritsar have often seen Neeta get overwhelmed with emotion every time she mentions you. I share with her the sense of pride and warmth as I thank you today for making this event possible. I must say, with your presence, the small step that we have taken feels like a giant leap. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Neeti, we cannot thank you enough for sharing your story of hope with us and for being a beacon of courage. You've made us believe that a victory in this fight against the insidious enemy is sambhav. So thank you. Dear Sonam, your ethereal voice stirred such deep emotions in everyone present here today. Personally, for me, my eyes welled up with tears. It was truly divine. Thank you for adding soulfulness to this endeavor. And with all my heart, I thank Rotarian CA Devinder Singh Ji, Governor Rotary International District 3070, and Rotarian Shri Vijay Nair Ji, President Rotary Club Amritsar, for being at the vanguards of this fight and supporting us in full strength. And before I conclude, with immense pride, I applaud and acknowledge the support of our treasured sponsors. Platinum sponsors, Orica Spices. The very name conjures up images of the most delectable gourmet food, aromatic and rich, the condiments that make your cooking a class apart. If taste is what you're looking for, then Orica is your answer. Khurana Jewelry House, a name eponymous with unparalleled quality, unshakable trust, and resplendence. They make jewelry that is regal, yet contemporary. In one word, perfection. Uday Realtek, a name to reckon with in the real estate sector of Amritsar, who've added to the architectural aesthetics of the city with marvels like Mukut House. They live their motto, dreams made real. I would also like to thank our gold sponsors. Thank you.
Manjot, you're muted. You're muted.
Our platinum sponsors Coke. Whatever the day, whatever the reason, whatever the weather, whatever the season, there is only one drink that bottles happiness. No guesses here, only Coke. I thank our gold sponsors, iLounge, Gitanjali Salons, silver sponsors, Divine Chocolate Factory, Moments by Kamal, Shaw Brothers. And thank you everyone. Once again, it was the most enriching session we've had. Thank you, Meeta, for this, and see you all soon.
Thank you, Manjot. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Serene. Thank you, Uncle, Neeti. It was so nice to have you virtually. And one day, very soon, we'll all fly you down to Amritsar for an actual session here.
Yeah, most welcome.
Look forward to it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Meeta, Ficky Flo, and Rotary. And thank you, Dr. Sreen and Colonel Pant. I'm always in awe of you. So thank you so much for having me. Thank
It
you.
is other way around, Niti. It is other way around. We are in awe of you.
Thank you, everyone. Wonderful session.
Thanks, Radhika. And Neeti, I will second that. Colonel Pant has been just raving about your positivity and
that he says such good things
connected with you. And we're looking forward now for awareness sessions with Yes to Life and Forum for Breast Cancer Protection. We're going to organize.
We'll be traveling to Amritsar next. We'll be traveling to Amritsar.
Yes,
such a beautiful
most
movie you showed us.
welcome.
You are very welcome.
The video you showed, it was beautiful. I was really tempted to see all.
My guest. Dr. Pant, you are my guest.
I can't be your guest because my daughter is there.
Yes. And the credit, if I may speak, the credit of that video goes to our joint treasurer, Mona Singh. Mona is the person who's arranging, doing this all IT, all this, connecting the dots. Without Mona, none of our sessions would be possible. So
Beautiful video. She must compliment her.
I promise I give you another video on Monday. I give you another video on the simulator, how to use it simulator.
Thank you.
Nayyar Saab, tandoori parathe and malai wali lassi.
लस्सी बुलाओ डॉक्टर साहब आपको साथ में और बहुत अच्छी मिठाइयाँ भी हैं यहाँ पे हमारे।
उसके बाद पैदल चल के जाएंगे दरबार साहब।
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. God bless. Take care.
Thank you.
Meeta is also my daughter. She is my daughter.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take care. God bless, Meeta.
Bye, Dr. Sreen. Bye, Uncle.
Bye, Amita. Amita, you're looking beautiful.
And look at you. I remember seeing you from 10 years back when I used to bring mommy to Apollo to you.
Oh, I'm seeing her for the last 30 years. There's no change.
You look as beautiful as you did when I used to come and see you. And I'm looking forward, next time, whenever I'm in Delhi, I'll ask maybe
we go out
something and we'll get together.
दिल्ली में तो हम कॉफी पिला पाएंगे पर अमृतसर में लस्सी पिएंगे।
आप आइए, आपको लस्सी के साथ बहुत कुछ पिलाएंगे। It'll be an honor for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.